So what's happening, guys? Hope your day is going well. Today we're going to review a single ingredient because sometimes the mission is not about just taking full products and hitting a review on them. Sometimes it's about pulling that product or that ingredient out of a product and saying, does that shit even work? So today we're going to review a single ingredient. And the reason why I wanted to do this review, I wanted to run this supplement, really is because I'm starting to see this all over the place. And I personally noticed a difference between EA formulas that have this and EA formulas that don't. And the difference was recovery. The only problem was, for me, was the EA formulas that did have it also had other ingredients like LATP or something like that. So I wasn't sure the recovery benefits that I was feeling. And I'm not saying that was like a big, giant jump in recovery, but I noticed a difference even during training as far as to push out more and feeling, more hydrated. So I got my hands on this and I ran it for you guys just to let you guys know if this thing was snake oil or not. I had some interesting effects. I'm going to get into that. We'll talk a little bit about Senactiv by NuLiv Science. This is actually the company that manufactures it. They're actually pushing it in a product now. And I didn't get this from any of my affiliates, so I don't have any affiliate links for you. I'll put a link to where I got it from. I actually picked it up on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. And this is 60 capsules in this particular serving, 100 milligrams per capsule. I don't think there's a reason to put up the ingredient profile, but I'll put it up here just for a second just so you can look at it. And what Senactiv is, it's a combination of Notoginseng, which is the Chinese version of ginseng, and then rose hips. And this is supposed to be the ginseng is supposed to be extracted to some high quality ginsenosides. So that's the active ingredient in ginseng, whatever form of ginseng you get, Korean ginseng or, American ginseng. But the ginsenosides is what you want to look for in the product. Like if you have ginseng, you want to look for 2% ginsenosides because that's the active ingredient that is going to give you benefits that have been done like in studies and stuff like that. And the rose hips in this actually is supposed to be a high quality form of rose hips with extracted flavones, triterpenes, and a few other ingredients that I have trouble even pronouncing that are supposed to be synergistic with the ginsenosides. And basically, there are some studies out there, before we jump right into this, as far as more and more about the ingredient. There are some studies out there, but we're going to talk about the studies done by NuLiv. There were 4 human trials where they actually took muscle biopsies. They actually did some really good research on how this thing affected. And the interesting thing is most of the studies were done just on the ginsenosides, not with the rose hips added. So they showed increased VO2 max, not endurance. So VO2 max is just your oxygen intake, which actually can make you push further and longer and give your muscles more energy. We need oxygen to produce ATP, so that's very important. It also had benefits on increasing satellite cell production, which, satellite cell production has a lot to do with energy, especially muscle energy, and the dividing of satellite cells into more satellite cells, so to multiply the satellite cells. And it does this by increasing a protein called PAX7. And PAX7 targets and regulates specific myogenic and neurogenic genes in the body. And basically what myogenesis is responsible for cellular growth. It's responsible for skeletal muscle that we build. It's responsible for the maturity of satellite cells. This has also been shown to help with the senescent cells, which are cells that are pretty much at the end of their life. So as far as for aging and energy, we're basically, our body, we're one big giant cell. And our body's like a universe of cells with different cliques of cells. So we got cells in my chest here, as far as that help with the muscle growth and the muscle contractions, everything you're doing. We got cells for the biceps to genetically build your biceps. You got cells in your butt cheeks. You got cells in your feet. You got cells in your fingers and your hands. I mean, they're all over the place, and they're genetically coded with the DNA and the RNA to rebuild those certain portions of your body. So they're really freaking interesting to me. So we develop cells that mature to a point of where they should be disposed of and made room for new cells. And they're called senescent cells. And if we don't dispose of these cells and they're sitting around a group of, other muscle cells, they can kind of like infect because they release toxins. So they can infect and destroy other cells or damage other cells in their functioning. So it's very important to get rid of senescent cells. And so this has been shown through some of their biopsies and their studies to actually increase that process as far as the disposal of old cells and the rejuvenation of new cells. So fantastic ingredient, and this is going to be a short video because there's not a whole lot to talk about this. The four human studies, of course, this was done by the company, so I'm always leery. So even though I read the studies, even though everything sounded like, oh, this thing is phenomenal, more satellite cells, we're going to build more muscle in the gym, we're going to have more energy, I'm going to start you looking younger because of the regeneration of of cells and new cells being born. I'm going to look beautiful. I'm going to stop aging. There's so many things as far as in papers that can really drum things up. But me, I like to put shit to the test. And I put this to the test. Did about a month of this so far. And I've got about 1 month left. So I only did 100 milligrams per pill every morning when I woke up on an empty stomach. Now, just so you know, on this review, when I give you guys my effects, I don't know what the hell's going on with my body. I noticed in 30 days, no strength gains. I noticed no beautifying effects. Like I didn't look prettier, So nothing as far as that goes. No extra hair growth, nothing. Nothing as far as anti-aging effects at all. But what I did notice on this thing, jumping right into this, making this review as short as possible for you guys, just deliver the effects, is I noticed about four days in, 100 milligrams a day in the morning on an empty stomach. 4 days in, I recall at the 7th day, thinking back, going, yeah, it started happening about 4 days. 4 days in, I started to feel stronger in my legs. So it wasn't really noticeable until about the 7th day. And the 7th day, I was sitting there at 9:30 at night, and being a type 1 diabetic, at 9:30 at night as a type 1 diabetic, after I've downed a bunch of my meals and my carbs, waiting for the sugars to kick in, my lower body is just tight. I can't even describe. We all have shit to go through. This is my shit. I deal with it, and that's how I get growth. And it's my responsibility to take care of it. So I deal with it. The wife yells out on the 7th day, hey, can you take Penny downstairs, my little pug, my little girl, down 3 flights of stairs. So I look over at her, I said, hey, we got to go potty if you want a treat. And then so she looks up. But then she looks at me with sad eyes like, can you carry me down the stairs? So I get up. I go grab her, put her harness on. I tell her, give me a hug. That's what I do. I kneel down, say, give me a hug. She puts both her paws on my shoulders, and I pick her up. Start carrying her down the stairs. We get on the bottom of the stairs, sit her down, latch her leash, and we start running to the grass so she can pee real quick. And then we run back. I pick her up again, and I go upstairs, and then I sit down and I think to myself, what the hell? I'm always busy. I feel stronger in my lower half of my body. And what it is what I've realized at 30 days in, it's inflammation response. The inflammation is actually darn near gone. Like my recovery from inflammation is like twofold. Like I don't feel what I felt normally before taking this. So I know it's the product doing this. My shoulders, I would lay on the bed, and usually the way I train, there's nights where I can't lay with my arm out. It's just like, oh, I can't lay like that. Or sometimes I'll put my arm this way, because it's just inflamed. Everything's inflamed. I've been training my ass off, and no inflammation. As far as, look, for me, it's a big jump as a type 1 diabetic. So I can't say no inflammation, because I don't want you guys to have this, miracle anti-inflammatory drug. I'm sure there's inflammation, but the pain that I feel on a daily basis and the shit I have to go through is not what normal people have to go through. So it's like 50% better, if not 100% better in my eyes, because I feel recovered all the time from that inflammation. So like I said, I can't tell you if it put muscle on me. I can't tell you if it helped me in the gym because I haven't noticed any strength gains. But I'll tell you something. This is a great ingredient for somebody who trains like me 5-6 days a week and really freaking puts in the work and pounds the crap out of their body. This has helped me a lot. So this it's not snake oil. So we're going to end this. Not snake oil. It works. It's a good ingredient. So if you see a product with it in it, just go, yep, I'm going to get some anti-inflammatory responses, if anything, off of this sucker. Great ingredient. I give it up to NuLiv, and I'm happy to have ran it, and now I know that it freaking works. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hope it wasn't too choppy and sloppy. We'll see you guys next time on the channel.